me again, Lauren Heistad, author to the book Homecoming. Now, either you know that and you have been following along for a very long time now, and I wanted to thank you for that. I appreciate your amazing open mind and kind heart. If you just happened to find this space, this channel, and this reading at this exact moment in time, well, I would assume that you've been called to arrive for a reason. And I am equally as grateful to have you join today as I continue telling my story. It's been a long journey. Oh, I would say we're about 3/4 done. That's amazing. Okay. Chapter 55. As soon as I get the hair out of my eyes. Clarity beyond the confusion. My mind and the collective mind are constantly railroaded with society's beliefs, mindsets, and opinions well beyond what any one human can currently comprehend. Many people who open up to the energetic reality that is our existence often believe they are becoming too sensitive and overly bombarded by the thoughts and influences of others. Many of us avoid busy places, seek solitude out in nature or anywhere else we can find it, because our energy field has become overwhelmed and super sensitive to all things. I propose another perspective. We have been numb to our reality for a very, very long time. Our senses are beginning to reactivate to the level of awareness we were always meant to uphold. We're not becoming too sensitive. We're not. We are ascending as humans to once again see, feel, and sense all things, capable of managing our own true reflection of divine potential. That sounds better, doesn't it? Too sensitive? Nope, not us. Sure. It might feel a little uncomfortable, or a lot uncomfortable, as we learn to navigate these new waters of both awareness and conscious manifesting, especially since society has been desensitized for way longer than anyone cares to admit. However, I assure you, we were meant to live as sensitive beings of clarity, not as numb, unaware contributors to a society of chaos. Fact. Now, I find people like to blame the current technology, media, religions, or governing systems for the lack of awareness and suppression of our innate perceptions. Now, of course, these influences are not always helping to rectify the situation. But in truth, society has been operating within this state of the Walking Dead for many, many ages of time. Our existence has become one within the collective, with our individual senses numbed, and many of our belief systems and thought processes stemming from the overall vibration of generations past. Regrettably, many of our thoughts and actions are overcome by the most powerful minds within our circle of influence, whether that is within our family unit, our community, cultures, or our globe. In other words, we have been operating on autopilot, following the strongest thought processes, as opposed to operating within our own unique individual soul path and divine potential. How do I know that? Good question. From subtleties I feel every single day. No huge conspiracy theories in action, just day-to-day interactions and influences I have felt directed towards myself and all others within a sleeping society beginning to awaken. Let me give you a few examples. Now, just as I was becoming very clear on both my life purpose and the direction I plan to take my healing center. Remember? I haven't talked about it for a while, but SOULworks Sacred Healing Center. So just as I was becoming very clear on both my life purpose and the direction I planned to take that healing center, I became overwhelmed by what felt like guidance from above. It did. One day, I saw within my mind's eye chairs moving around and a room within my facility opening up for rent. A room I had been utilizing and was very happy to be utilizing for another purpose altogether. However, the changes in perspective came in so clear that I walked into my sanctuary one day and literally tripped over a stack of chairs moved to a new location. Not moved in the physical world, but somehow on an energetic level and plane of existence, change was certainly in motion. A change so notable that I tripped over what anyone else would have viewed as absolutely nothing blocking my path. Hey, are you clumsy too, my friend? Might want to figure out the why. Okay. Now I became confused with the change in direction and asked my guides for days on end if I was following the wrong guidance. Would I really be better off renting the room? Were my guides sending these visions to show me a better way? Of course, the answers, regardless of my own confusion, were always the same. Keep following your own heart and clarity. Do what you feel is best for you and your family. You will eventually know and understand the truth to this matter. A few days later, only a few days later, I was contacted by an old friend, a dear one, who I do value and respect. She confided her desire to rent a room within my center. You know, she nudged within the correspondence, the one in the back where you are currently storing all your chairs. Let me be very clear about this encounter. An encounter that might even seem too insignificant or little to mention. Understanding the energetic flow within this experience is very critical to navigating a global awakening. This was not an evil force trying to manipulate my reality. This was not guidance coming from above, showing a better way. This was not a true reflection of what I myself knew as the best plan of action for my own sanctuary. This situation was not even divine guidance asking that I utilize my space to help house another's ambitions. There's none of those things. This was just a fellow human being and friend trying to find their own way, but unknowingly influencing mine. Truth. To take this concept further, I have felt others standing within my own energy field. Not just in my sanctuary, I mean literally standing in my energy field. Like I can look down and see that someone else's shoes are overlaid on top of my own. Within these moments, it has changed the way I feel about myself and can even affect my gait, mannerisms, voice, and speech until I realize what is taking place and take back control of my own energy field. It feels like being taken over by another being and manipulated in my thoughts, words, and deeds. Now, there's other seers who've also witnessed these bizarre moments in time when someone else is trying to stand in or walk in my shoes. I have even shot out of bed in the middle of the night to write down ideas of events that I feel I must host or plan to attend. These ideas often surface, including details such as the name of the event, date, time, and overall theme. Now in the morning, I am often met with confusion as I once again ask my guides why the changes in direction. I thought my own path and plans were primarily mapped out. Why was I witnessing and feeling the need to speak at these events? More recently, I've even attended functions in person and felt the panicked need to suddenly stand up and address the crowd. Fun fact, on all these occasions, even the events, dates, and times that I hear and feel I must attend as a guest speaker actually exist as functions. They just happen to be events where others are trying to speak on my behalf. or walk in my shoes. That is an obvious truth that even I don't want to admit to. Mastering your soul works. The example of the simple moving of chairs can be applied towards many other aspects in life, such as health and wellness, changes in core beliefs, global events, and even depression and anxiety. We are continuously ignoring or suppressing our own truth because we are bombarded by the ideas, actions, and opinions of others. Or perhaps we're the ones exerting that type of influence in an effort to find our way. Regardless of our current reality and the blurred lines of our interconnectivity. As we become more connected to all that is, and our awareness expands, we are most certainly not meant to lose our individual voice within this global awakening. We are meant to find it. I need to repeat that. As we become more connected to all that is, and our awareness expands, we are not meant to lose our individual voice within this global awakening. We're meant to find it. Furthermore, the idea of only dark or negative thoughts affecting us is not an accurate representation of our existence. We are affected by our interconnectivity always. The mission then, for yourself and all others, is to find and express your voice within the world without minimizing the equal rights of all others to do the same. Find and establish your life path without negatively affecting someone else's. Unearth the dreams and passions within your soul while ensuring you maintain the highest integrity for all involved at every decision point along the way. Sure, it sounds complicated, but it is quite simple actually. Aspire to live big, chase your dreams, and create the life you desire. Just don't expect it to be facilitated on the back of another. It may not seem spiritual to draw that line in the sand, but co-creating a pipe dream with someone else's energy and resources only works if you both have similar visions or desires to create the same outcome together. When those aspirations are in alignment, the team effort and partnerships are amazing. They are. When ambitions differ, the path will always create an uphill struggle. There's no positive outcome ever created by directing or manipulating someone else's life path for your own betterment or ambitions. The only shoes you should ever walk in or attempt to navigate are your own, while having compassion and faith for all others who are trying and learning to do the same. manage your energy field. The most effective way I have ever found to avoid being bombarded by the thoughts and opinions of others is to manage my own energy field. By this, I mean getting to know your own aura so that you become acutely more aware when someone else's crosses into your personal boundaries or infiltrates your thoughts, either by intention or lack of awareness. Visualize your auric field like a sphere of bright light. Are you doing it? A sphere of bright light. Tend to it regularly to see if there are any weak spots caused by doubts, fears, or personal insecurities. This can be on any level of your physical, emotional, or spiritual being, with chakras playing a key component on strengthening your energetic vessel. Right? We've already talked about that. Tune in and energetically fill your cup to the brim with your own life force so that you are always clear on when and where your personal space ends and someone else begins. You would do this to a room in your house if you were sharing your space with a roommate or a family member. Do the same as you carve out your rightful space within our earthly kingdom, ensuring your room is well maintained while honoring the individual rights of all others to do the same. I know, it's cool to think of our earthly kingdom as every one of us having our own room within it, isn't it? And that room is your auric space, and that auric space is your body, mind, and soul. Nice. Okay, find your own clarity. Ask yourself, is this my truth? If the answer is no, go back to the basics and manage your own energy field, thereby removing the intrusion. Of course, what we consider to be true or valid during any phase of our personal development can certainly change over time. Right? Of course it can. But we can still learn to see at any given point whether what we are experiencing is valid and true at that moment. For myself, if I had tuned in and asked if I'm truly getting up to speak next, when visiting events and gatherings, including large speaking engagements, funeral services, and various celebrations of life, I would have known I had no intention of getting up to speak, nor was I officially on the speakers list. Many who suffer from anxiety are often tapping into this overflow of energy from others within the room. Oftentimes, the energy exchange can be a little more personal, accessing our own energy field on a bigger scale. For myself, this is a very, very common occurrence if someone in a crowd is attempting to speak on my behalf. Often these experiences send me into a tailspin of confusion and panic, sheer panic, as I become acutely aware it's my turn to get up and address the crowd. Of course, the reality of the energetic exchange becomes very apparent once the speaker makes their way to the podium and begins to talk. In both scenarios, the solution is the same. It is kindly reclaim your energy field while honoring all others. Next, Identify how energy arrives. You can effectively learn how to feel energy and identify where it enters your auric space. At first, all inbound data will feel like your own voice, your own thoughts, and your own insights, regardless of where the information is coming from. Truth. With practice, however, you can learn how to distinctly hear, see, and know exactly where all incoming energy originates. Eventually, you will even be able to hear all thoughts and insights as they enter your energy field, regardless of whether a word is ever spoken out loud or from what dimension the message arrives. Divine guidance from your team comes from above. Guidance from loved ones who have crossed over comes from behind, symbolically depicting aspects from your past. Ideas and opinions surfacing from others will come in from the side or from in front of your energy field. And then there's your own logic, thoughts, and soul reactions. These originate from within. They do. Delving further into this inner dialogue, there are a few aspects of your own state of mind in play. There are thoughts and ideas generated from your conscious awareness and understanding, often felt slightly to your immediate left, yet still within your aura. There's a separate, more shadow aspect that exists below the surface within your subconscious mind, caused by trauma, past experiences, and or inner knowing yet to surface. This energy and intuitive response can be felt directly to your right and yet still a part of your energy field. And then there is your own higher self reaction and guidance system that is embodied deeper and more securely within your heart and soul. All three internal aspects are worthy voices within your mind to learn to embrace and understand. When identifying energy, first ask, is this thought internal or external? You may hear, see, or feel the flow of energy. Trust what you intuit. If someone is manipulating your energy field, go back and manage your own aura. If it happens to be the thoughts and feelings of others entering that beautiful auric room of yours, kindly send them on their way and stay firm within your own soul potential. Most importantly, if it happens to be thoughts and reactions from an aspect of yourself yet to be understood, expressed, or healed, give yourself the time to authentically listen to that inner dialogue, bringing those shadows and hidden truths to the light. Next, know your plan. Know your plan. Of course, staying flexible and going with the flow of life is a great way to explore this world of ours. However, understanding some of your own basic life goals and being very clear on how you want to arrive there is equally as important. As co-creators of our world, we most certainly have a say on how we would like our personal life to unfold. We do. Personal goals can be quite fluid and change over time, But the important part is to know the general direction in which you plan to go. Knowing your overall plan and life goals can certainly help identify the true path whenever confusion arises. Take the time to identify your personal preferences while staying open to the universe's ability to open new doors you never even thought was possible. Also keep in mind that you can certainly aspire to live a life like someone else, but it will never actually be their life you live. Find your own way and walk sure-footed within your own SOULworks. Next, identify priorities. It's wonderful to have big sky dreams, and I encourage them often. However, both financially and otherwise, having everything you desire right away is not always feasible. It's not. Many times we must identify key priority areas and then focus on manifesting those dreams one step at a time. I love public speaking. I do. And I follow those inner callings often. However, at various times in my life, addressing a crowd has not been my priority. Likewise, I used to share my space and would often rent rooms within my facility to both utilize the area and to help carry the financial load. However, as time progressed and my priorities shifted, ensuring my space was available for everyone and anyone within the community was no longer a focus. Definitely not. Instead, I became much more settled on utilizing the space for my own SOULworks. Take the time to identify your individual priorities. Yes, you might long for an upgrade in your home, career, relationship, all at once. However, if you had to pick just one area for now, are you aware of your soul's priorities? Priorities tend to change over time. Understanding your biggest ambitions is critical when manifesting your dreams. Next, focused on the highest good for all involved. For all involved. When we are creating a reality that involves many others, which of course is the case. It is the case for most of us daily, unless you really do live in a bubble. Then we must always take into account the highest good for everyone involved. In my chair scenario, and renting out my sanctuary, my friend took it upon herself to believe she had a solution that was a win-win for both of us. If she'd taken the time to tune into the situation before even posing the question, or energetically moving my chairs around as she dreamed up her most inner desires, she would have known her request was only considering her own individual perspective. And that's not a judgment, it's just an observation. It was not in both of our best interests to move down that path. As it turns out, it was not even in her best interests to move towards her proposed direction. As a new and better opportunity presented itself only days later. Know your plan, and then be open to a bigger universal plan that you weren't even aware of. It's pretty magical. Thank you once again for being here.